Gasho,
Gasho.
Prashantam, я хотела бы поблагодарить вначале тебя за то, что ты поддержал эту идею организовать открытой эту встречу.
Prashantam, I would like to thank you that you have supported this idea to organize this meeting of today.
although it is very simple and I have spoken so many times in my life about the subject that I want to share with you, for me, it is always another opportunity to be in meditation. And to be in meditation means that everyone participates and supports the collective energy that we create together. Yes, today I will speak about a subject that probably all of you could also be in my place and have so much to say. Still, the benefits for me and for you will be that at the end of the time that we are now here tonight, we feel we have enjoyed a space of meditation together. You see, when I reflect about dynamic meditation, Osho dynamic meditation, I have to recognize that probably in my life, this is the subject that I have spoken more often. I don't know if it was hundreds of times, but probably it were more like thousands of times. And I know that because I share with you from a space of meditation, I have never repeated myself. In every time that I have shared about this meditation, I know I have always been spontaneous, original, as if it is the first time that I am speaking about it. And if there are so many subjects that I could share with you, and I have been doing so in the last few months, it is always from the same place that I speak to you. I let my heart speak. And as I let my heart speak, I am sometimes surprised with what it says, because it is always original, it always feels fresh. And although I know so clearly the subject that I want to share with you, I'm also free to let the heart speak. And you can trust that this is the first time that I will share with you what it will happen for the next hour or so. So you may, if you wish, even close your eyes and enjoy what it will be said from a space of listening rather than watching a video. I am, as still as possible, I am in that space of meditation and spontaneity. I could myself keep the eyes closed, but it does help me to stay focused on the screen because I notice the quality of your presence, and that stimulates and motivates me to continue. You see, we started by saying that this meeting tonight, it is mostly about Osho dynamic meditation. Well, there are a few things that I need to tell you before I continue. The first is that whatever I will share with you it is in my own authority. I am taking responsibility for whatever I will share with you. This is not a messenger from Osho. This is a lover of Osho, like so millions around the planet. And so many other people would have equal authority to speak about this meditation and about Osho, as I recognize I can speak to you. And second, nobody ever spoke better, in my knowledge and understanding, nobody ever spoke better about meditation or dynamic meditation than Osho himself. So please never take what I say as a substitute or an improvement about what Osho has said in so many different ways. And you can always find it in his books, in his videos, and in the way so many of his sannyasins and lovers will share their experiences. I speak to you because dynamic meditation changed my life. And today I tell you that dynamic meditation could also change the whole world. It is with this motivation that I am enthusiastic about this evening, this meeting. It could change your life too, if it is that what you are looking for. I am pleased, I am happy that this time there is the possibility of you speaking without thinking about how long it can take. You see, most of the time when I spoke on this matter, it was usually in the beginning of the practice of some meditation, of dynamic meditation in particular. So I was always somehow pressured by the reduced amount of time that was available to share about what is such a beautiful, powerful, and definitely will give you results technique of meditation. But today, as I said, I am pleased that I can let the heart speak without any pressure about how long it can take. And so, before we arrive to the details, the technical information about this meditation, I would like to start from the beginning. And to me, the beginning is, why do you want to meditate? And then you will arrive to the next question, which is why you are interested in dynamic meditation, Osho dynamic meditation. So let's take what it needs to confront this question. Why do you want to meditate? Of course, you could ask yourself, why do you want to breathe? Or even, why do you want to live? These are real questions that deserve real answers. They are part of a choice that every human being has the right to make, the choice of living consciously. This choice does not depend on race, does not depend on age, does not depend on sex. This choice is an individual choice available to every human being that is alive today and that will be alive in the continuation of our race. Yes, indeed. Why do you want to meditate? Well, you may know that since the beginning of time, human beings like you and me have recognized that human nature has the capacity to seek in many different forms. All cultures have been interested in the search for something that is beyond the ordinary of the everyday life. Some may say that they are searching for God. Others will say they are searching for paradise, for total happiness. Well, I will not continue on this list because you probably would have your own answer. But the fact is that within human consciousness, there is the possibility to focus on a quality of life that goes beyond the ordinary life that we identify with. This search can be simplified by defining the journey in the search for the answer of the question, who am I? Of course, many of you would say, oh, I know that answer. Yes, you would say, I am a woman, I am a man, I am a teacher, I am a housewife, I am a businessman, I am a beggar, or I am a king. Yes, there is an endless list of definitions that are in fact identifications. These identifications are not the true answer to the question, who is that being inside of you? Because you were not born with that identification. Yet you were born with the essence, the true unicity of your own being. And the fulfillment, the recognition of this unicity is maybe the real meaning for our existence. This search has been part of human beings since the beginning of times. We have heard and we have known about pilgrims going to holy places. We have known about temples. In fact, what we may know about cultures that existed long before our own culture of today, we know it because the temples have remained. Today they are ruins. But we know about these cultures because they built places of worshipping, places of seeking. This is part not only of your individual capacity, but it is also part of the collective unconscious. Long before you can ask yourself, if it is truly what you identify with or not. Already, the culture where we belong to speaks about God, speaks about the ultimate, speaks about many other forms of existence to whom we are, in fact, most of the time, absolutely in the darkness about its reality. So, in the search of the answer to the question, who am I? One has a choice. One can focus this search. Of course, first, one has to recognize if that is a priority in your existence at the moment. Once that becomes the priority of your existence, then you have a choice. One is to continue the search, the journey, on your own. And many have done it. Many continue to do it. Or then you may also recognize that you need the help. You need the support, the motivation of somebody that you feel can guide you in a direction that starts giving you results. We call these people spiritual masters, enlightened beings, or in some way we see and search and listen to the guidance of these human beings like you and I that have found the answer to the question, who am I? This has been happening in the history of our civilization. It's not new. In fact, it has happened probably much more frequently in previous times. We have known about cultures that were totally focused on the spiritual path. Of those still alive and present in our days, we hear about the tradition of the Tibetan people. But not only. Still, what we need to recognize is that when we come with our questions, with our need to search, when we come to the people that we see and feel can help us, we call them masters. In their total compassion, in their love, knowing that the search needs to be by the individual. The masters create techniques. We have the questions, we have the doubts, we have the seeking. The master says, continue. You are on the right path. Here, I suggest to you these techniques. We call them meditations. So I am still dealing with what I started with. Why do you want to meditate? To me, the journey in the search to the answer of the question, who am I? Guides you towards a quality of life. I repeat, a quality of life that will undoubtedly have the quality of meditation. That quality can be described in many different forms. Usually, the most common is you are living your life in the moment. You are watching your identifications. You are ready to see yourself responsible for your life and the creator of your life, and so on, so forth. So is the quality of meditation. Of course, we also talk about meditations, techniques. These are the tools, the games, the playfulness that the masters give to us in order that we use them in the journey that I just spoke about. It is almost like you arrive to the edge of a river and you want to cross that river. That river can be the example of one of your hurdles in life, one of your difficulties in life. The master cannot cross the river for you. The master cannot carry you on its shoulders to the other side of the shore. The master says, here, I suggest to you these techniques. Use them. It could give you the results that we are looking for. So before we continue, I suggest you to really consider, as totally as honestly as you can, why do you want to meditate? Because it is in the quality of the answer that you will find to this question that you can move to the next stage. We are not yet talking about techniques. We will arrive to techniques. We will arrive to the meditations, and eventually I will speak about Osho dynamic meditation. That will come next. But it will make no sense to you if right now you don't face the question, why do you want to meditate? Of course, you may already have asked this question to yourself, and then you are very happy that I bring it up and you recognize that you have the answer. And so we took the next step. We take the next step. Once you feel strongly connected to the motivation, to the answer of the question, why do you want to meditate? Then comes the next one. How? It's like, I can feel the need. I want to be involved with meditation. I want to bring it into my daily life. And next is, how can I do it? Well, the answer is again quite simple. Totally and only totally will give you results. But you see, don't be pressured by the word totality, because totality is always an individual choice. Totality only you can recognize. In totality, you are master of your acts. Totality is never the same. Totality happens when you relax, when you enjoy, when you stop competing with yourself. So how? Totally. Totality is an act of love to yourself. And whatever technique you will choose later, or all the techniques that you will practice in the future, results will happen only when your attitude, your how, is in totality. I repeat, totality comes from your heart. Totality is a gift of love to yourself. Totality seeks no applause. Totality expects no approval or disapproval. It fulfills itself. There is no medals in totality, but there is an immense self-recognition. I remember once hearing Osho talking about I remember hearing Osho once talking about a beautiful question that was asked. And the question was, what is the enemy of meditation? Because you could ask yourself, why am I so resistant and having so much difficulty to truly enjoy, relax into meditation? And the answer of Osho was so supportive and so awakening to me. The answer came from him as I heard it. Your competitive mind. Your competitive mind is the enemy of meditation. That means exactly that. Meditation is not an exercise. There is no Olympic Games of meditation. Nobody will ever give you a black belt in meditation. Meditation is not a ticket that you are paying for your enlightenment. Nobody's watching. There is no God out there in the sky looking down and watching how many times or how you practice your techniques. But all your education has been focused on competition. And today, you are existentially tired. Whenever someone suggests you, even gently, about practice some techniques, something in you doesn't even want to hear about it. Because all what you had to do through the very first years of your life, and probably still now you are doing it, is an attitude of competition with yourself. This is how our education systems function. You are not supported in being yourself. You are pushed to be better than the others, to achieve the goals, to pass the exams. Well, you have to be ready for a total different being inside of you, one that doesn't judge yourself, one that doesn't expect inside of yourself, one that practices and is fulfilled in the experience that we'll have with each practicing. Each time will be different. Each time it will be this. Each time it's another opportunity to gift yourself with totality. So we spoke about why do you want to meditate, and probably you already feel that it supported you, it gave you a good input. Then we moved about how. Totality. And totality is like a step by step. It increases not because you are expecting, but because nature itself inside of you supports it. The most difficult is the first step. The most difficult is the first breath. And then it just keeps going and going and going. Yes, you may be active, involved, but you see, Buddha guided his disciples towards what we call vipassana, watching, sitting, being absolutely still. You can be absolutely still, absolutely doing nothing, totally. And that totality, you carry it, whether you are dancing, whether you are breathing, whether you are screaming or expressing yourself. Once again, totality and only totality will give you results. Why, how, and eventually what? That's right. Now you are ready to move to the what. What techniques are the right ones? The ones that can give you benefits through your practice. Well, that's where many times people start from, and actually very soon they lose enthusiasm because they never found the answer to the first question that I suggested you, or even they never imagined that there is a how in order to create results. The what? In fact, there is many ways to what. And there we arrive to what I see being the original message from Osho. The absolutely rebellious form that Osho brought to mankind since the beginning that he started sharing his enlightenment and teaching the people that came close to him. Because indeed, Osho, in the tradition of teachers and masters, Osho went one step further, or maybe even one step outside of the routine, of the traditional ways. And I will explain you the way I see it. And that's what makes me say today how Osho continues to be so alive and so beneficial, probably even more than ever, more than when he was still living in his body. Because his guidance, his teachings, continue to affirm its value, are so easy to understand that your intelligence would have said the same if you would have found yourself in the position that Osho found, surrounded by thousands and thousands of people listening and wanting to be guided, and today millions of people. By the way, I am happy to relate to you a small story that tells you how Osho is indeed expanding all over the world. We were surprised in the early years in India to find small booklets of Osho teachings for sale in the kiosks, in the bookstores of the train stations in India. I remember traveling throughout India and occasionally looking at the bookstores, on the platforms of the train stations, selling all kinds of magazines and all kinds of goods. And there they were in the shelves, books from, at that time, Bhagwan Rajneesh. it was so surprising, but also so touching that I remember those moments with truly happiness. But the story I wanted to tell you happened here in my village. There is a local newspaper that is printed in this area and is distributed in the local news shops, and we are talking about a few thousand copies. 2 or 3 weeks ago, the issue of this newspaper, which is a local newspaper, the issue of the weekend, usually it's a more elaborated and thicker version of the daily newspaper. On the weekend, Saturday, was offering an Osho book in Portuguese for €2. I find it fantastic. I was so surprised that it arrived in a place where when I say that my name is Prashantam, they really look at me as if I am some kind of a strange being coming from some strange planet. And the Osho books are available in the kiosk of the village for €2 if you buy the weekend magazine, the weekend newspaper. Yes, this is how Osho is spreading throughout the whole world and touching people today. Just like he said, but it's not surprising because his message continues to be so valid. And I wanted to share with you what I see about it. Well, starting from the understanding that identification is the disease, identification is what takes you away from being in touch with your inner peace and inner being. Therefore, we can also understand that meditation is the art of watching your thoughts. All right? Many of you will have difficulty to even validate that there is such a possibility. If you close your eyes and just take a few moments of looking into the continuous flow of your thoughts, you see, how is it possible to separate yourself from this continuous flow of thoughts? How is it possible? So it sounds like meditation is something absolutely impossible to reach. And yet, there is that peace within yourself, that it is the one that you call the watcher. The watcher is not the mind, and the watcher is not the body. The watcher is not even the watcher. But that is another layer of understanding that maybe on another time you will come to integrate in your consciousness. Still, let's take it in the simple way. If you want to arrive to that silence in which you can not identify with the continuous flow of your thoughts, then you can use the technique that I spoke before about Gautama the Buddha, sitting, being as still as possible in your body. Focus on the flow of your breathing, and slowly you will start detaching yourself from mind, from the continuation of your thoughts. There is many techniques. Another one, transcendental meditation, will give you a mantra, and it is almost like through the continuous practice of that mantra, you in some way, it could be said, you auto-hypnotize yourself. You detach yourself from the other thoughts by focusing only on one of the thoughts that you chose to focus on, the so-called mantra. But I wanted to particularly focus on telling you why Osho is so original, so revolutionary, and at the same time so actual, as if it was said just for the man of today, you and I. It's quite simple. You have no difficulty to understand that there is no separation between body, mind, spirit, and we go one step more, we call it Turiya, the fourth. But just by saying there is no body without a mind, there is no mind without a body, consequently, you can see and easily understand that the unicity of your being, the unicity, the oneness of your being, body, mind, spirit, the one is a one unity of energy. That unity of energy can take focus on mental energy, and you use it. Students need to use it a lot to learn about what you need to learn in school. Scientists use a huge amount of mental energy in order to create new machines and invent new forms of expressions. Yes, mental energy can be very powerful. Mental energy made us arrive to the moon. But there is also physical energy. And there is also some other form, the energy, that it's neither mental nor physical. We call it spirit energy. You may have difficulty to connect with this understanding, but just for giving a short understanding. When you look into the eyes of a child and you say, this child has something different, you're talking about the spirit. You're not talking about the mental energy or the physical energy. If you ever had the opportunity to focus and see Osho's eyes and the expression that is so present in his vision, in his eyes, you can see that his physical energy was not very strong, particularly in the late years of his life. His mental energy was, of course, very powerful, but his spirit was alive, present, powerfully present. I can tell you, until the very last day of his existence, because I was fortunate to be present in some of the last moments of his life. And that spirit stayed alive until the last time I saw him. So, once you understand that, now you have a choice. You can focus on mental energy, and you may even do that sometimes, or you can drain the mental energy by using it through physical energy, through movement, through breathing, and through expressing yourself. And this is the originality that Osho brought into meditation by saying, don't force yourself to silence. It's difficult, it takes time. Instead, just exhaust yourself physically, and then silence will come to you as a gift, as a reward. Silence will shower on you. The watcher will be just in that blissful space of silence. The watcher will be only a presence, because the mind will be so empty, so drained. And so you understand that all the techniques of Osho carry this message. Not only dynamic meditation, all his techniques have an active part that guides you, that leads you to an inactive part, a silent part. But you see, we are not far from the understanding of what Chinese wisdom has been speaking for thousands of years through the understanding of yang yin, action in action, and the complementarity of both. Complementarity means that the extremes touch each other. The deeper may be yang, the deeper will be yin. Coming back to the techniques of meditation that Osho created and guided for us to practice, I want to emphasize once again this simple and important understanding that the more total you will be in the active part, and that is your choice. That is something that you can involve yourself with much more easily than by forcing yourself into silence. By being totally active, then naturally silence will follow. Remember, I spoke to you about why do you want meditation? I also shared with you how, and now we are dealing with what. What techniques? Again, I'm reminded of hearing Osho telling an answer to a question that was, what is the best technique for me? And the answer came very sweet and clear, the one that you enjoy. So what is the best technique for you? The one that you enjoy. But of course, in order to truly know the one you enjoy, you have to, at least in the beginning, practice them. If not all, as many as possible. Because only then you will know which one you truly enjoy. And there is a tradition that says that practice each technique at least 21 times. Of course, this is just a guideline. You probably can do it more or less, but that's how you will come to your own recognition of the technique that seems to fulfill your joyful practice, your joy in meditation. And so we arrive to the technique that it is most known and also widely practiced, that we call Osho dynamic meditation. It changed my life. I am gratefully recognizing that it was dynamic meditation that opened my consciousness. And what I share with you now, it is still a consequence, a fruit of the many times that I practiced that technique. Of course, like all the other techniques, you can also see that meditation techniques are a mirror where you see yourself. You see how you take care of your body. You see how you identify with your thoughts, with your emotions. You see how the quality of life that you are creating. And all that is what meditation helps you eventually to find the way that you feel this, you are the way you deserve, the way you want for your life. So see techniques, nothing more than just a mirror that mirrors your being. Dynamic meditation is a very powerful mirror, also very sharp, very clean. It reflects. As soon as you start practicing it, it reflects very clearly the way you have been taking care of your body, the way that you are identifying with your emotions and with your belief systems, the way that you are investing in a quality of life and recognizing that probably you deserve to continue focusing on that quality. The 5 stages of this technique are extremely simple. I will spend a few moments giving you some technical details as I am now arriving to the end of this introduction and this sharing about the meditation. I give you some guidelines. Please, these guidelines are what helped me in the practice of the techniques. Don't take them as golden rules. It's not because I suggest that you should do it this way. Through the practice of long periods of time, it appeared naturally that some ways can make it more enjoyable. And so I want to share some of these tools of awareness, golden tools for positive results. In the first stage, as you know, you are requested to breathe as intense as possible, focusing on the exhalation. It's very simple. And I suggest, even after you hear what I am saying to you, I strongly suggest that you read the Orange Book of Osho, where he describes, in his own words, the way to practice his meditations. Still, I remember, focus on the exhalation. Exhaling through your nose as total as possible. It is called chaotic breathing. I understand this word chaotic breathing by telling you that it has no regular pattern. It's chaotic. Sometimes it goes out like this, sometimes it goes out like this. What matters to me is that you stay focused on the exhalation. And to do that, feel well anchored on your feet. Open slightly your feet to get a good connection with the ground. Relax your knees so that your whole body can really support the exhalation. So you have to liberate your arms and use your pelvis, use your elbows, and especially let your heart be present. You know, you have found the answer why you want to meditate. You have also connected with how to do it. Totally. Now, the what is the play. The what is the, the key that will open to the unknown. So, as total as you can. You may remember when I was speaking about totality, that totality is together with the relaxation. There is no totality without relaxation. And relaxation is always total. Or then, what is it? So, in the first stage, well anchored on your feet, relaxed with your knees, using the movement of your pelvis, the help of your arms and elbows, focusing on the exhalation through your nose. Let it be playful. It's chaotic. There is no regular pattern that you must follow. Your way will be the right way. And this takes to the second stage. The second stage, I call it the opportunity to express yourself. That's right, just express yourself. Usually, what you have repressed the most, we call it anger. So, what comes out more easy to express is anger. But it does not need to be so. Just liberate yourself. For 10 minutes, nobody's going to tell you what to do. You do it your own way. If you want to sing, sing. If you want to run, run. Use this opportunity to release what usually you repress the most. And in the world of violence and so much conditionings that we live, naturally, there is always some possibility to connect with releasing, expressing yourself in a way that it feels like you are throwing out any sort of rubbish, any sort of unwanted thoughts, unwanted emotions. Just express it. But at the same time, be creative. You are not performing to anybody. You are not trying to please anybody. So be creative. If you find yourself falling into old patterns, drop them, find new ones, change, because you are freely expressing yourself. And be lost in it. If you want to roll on the floor, roll on the floor. There is no expectations. There is an invitation to absolutely let go. The music will change after 10 minutes, and then comes the stage that for many is the most physically challenging. Well, the guidance is very simple. raise your arms and jump on the flat of your feet. This small detail of the flat of your feet, as you will notice, makes a big difference. Because when you hit the ground with your heels, with the flat of your feet, you will notice a hammer feeling touching your first chakra and releasing a rising energy. Again, raise your arms and keep them up. Jump on the flat of your feet. And as you touch the ground, release a sound. We call it hu. But the sound is your sound. It sounds like hu. Can be ha, but it is your sound. In the very beginning, when Osho was still experimenting with this technique, the sound to be released was, who am I? Today, the guidance is more simple. Raise your arms, jump on the flat of your feet, you hit the ground, and let the sound who. Simultaneous with the moment of hitting the ground. Now, what I notice, and probably you can come close to that understanding too, is that the heaviest is not any part of my body that prevents me from jumping. It's my head. My defeating mind, my competitive mind, that is telling me I'm too old, I'm too heavy, I cannot jump. And that is what is truly heavy. So in order to not give time for mind to interfere, see if you can find this rubber ball effect, like a tennis ball that hits the ground, and in the moment of hitting the ground, it pushes you up. There is no gap between the jump and the next jump. Each jump creates the next one. You hit the ground and it springs you up. So I like to call this third stage of Osho dynamic meditation rising stage. That's the feeling. Rise. Even when your legs are not anymore jumping, your heart is still rising. You are still touching the sky. If your arms cannot go up anymore, everything in you is still rising. Rise. Touch the sky. It will bring you into that deep understanding that you are much, much more immense than all the stuff that before you were considering to be your problems or your so-called tensions. And this totality through the first three stages of Osho dynamic meditation eventually take you to the very purpose of the technique. Stop. Sometimes I tell the people that participate in the workshops or different meditations when I am involved with them, and I say, hey, what do you think Osho wants to experience in this meditation? To me, the answer is stop. Stop is the purpose. Stop thinking, stop identifying, stop projecting, stop dreaming, stop anything else. Stop, freeze. And it's important that you stay in that frozen state, like a statue, because you bring to the maximum intensity that moment that can be compared to an orgasmic experience, absolutely out of your thinking process. Stop and stay in that stopped quality that step by step takes you easily into watching the thoughts. Yes, of course, thoughts will never stop. They will come back. But by then, in your total frozen state, it will be much easier to recognize that you are not those thoughts, that those thoughts have the life on their own. You just watch them passing like image on the screen of a TV. If mind becomes very disturbing, you have two tools. One is remember your feet. That's right. Stay grounded. The other, come back to your breathing. The breathing is still happening. So anchor yourself on the breathing, connecting with your feet. And again, mind is not interfering with that silent stage. And finally, in the fifth stage, there is the music coming back, and the dancing music invites you to dance. What a beautiful message. Truly, so touching that Osho always reminds us in meditation, be joyful. In meditation, celebrate yourself. Only then you truly experience what meditation is about. Because there is nothing in your unique being that you need to feel negative about. That is your true Buddha nature. And the celebration that includes in most of Osho techniques through dancing is that message. Dance. Dance not because it's a technique. No, dance because it's a message. You have all the right to celebrate yourself. You have already done your totality. You have already watched your thoughts. Now, just let go and dance. Nothing to hold on to. No spiritual ego to nourish. Just dance. In dancing, you have no age. In dancing, you have no name. You don't need a passport. In dancing, you don't belong to anybody. Still today, those primitive people that we call, those people in the jungle that we call primitive, when they want to celebrate their gods, they dance. Whether it's in Africa or in the jungles of the Amazonas. Dancing, it's probably the first thing that we were able to do in our lives, because your first walk was a dance. And most of the moments in your life that still today you remember with happy pride feelings happen probably when you were dancing. So of course, dancing in the world of Osho is always one of his clear message, where you go far beyond any technique and truly touch the essence of meditation. Thank you, Osho. Yasho. Enough for today? I think.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. See you next Saturday or Thursday in the Samasati meditation. Or in the master talk of Saturday. I think this weekend there will be question and answers. Bring your questions.